بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس والطهروا تطهيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى قوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما كان المؤمنون لينفروا كافة فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. I guess this is for Surah Fatiha. Please recite Surah Fatiha for the following: Sayyid Ghulam Hussain, Sayyid Raza Hussain, Masouda Bano, Sarwari Begum Bilqis Zahra, Ali Aftab Raza, Ali Rizwan, Shah Pirai Begum, Muhammad Mehdi Mirza, Sayyid Dilawar Abbas, Agha Amir Hussain, Ahmad Ali Khan, Ganiz Zahra. Surah Fatiha and 3 times Surah Ikhlas. So many names. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. قل هو الله الصمد لم يكن له كفوا أحد. قل هو الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صلى على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The verse that I recited is from Surah Tawbah, verse number 122. It's the verse which talks about migration, as well as it talks about the importance of ulum din. It says, not all believers have to become a specialist in religious learning. Why not some of the people from each group of believers seek to become a specialist in religious learning, and after completing their studies, guide their group so that they will have fear of God. This is one of the verses which emphasizes a great deal on attaining Islamic knowledge, or attaining religious or dini madhabi ta'aleem. And to an extent, when you look at the explanation of this ayat, it is mentioned that attaining this knowledge is wajib kifai. So if some of the people went ahead and did this, it would not be obligatory upon the rest. Some of the keywords that are used in it is the word tafaqquh. It says, لِيَتَفَقَّهُوا فِي الدِّينِ. Tafaqquh in religion means to strive hard in order to attain deep understanding of beliefs and the religious laws. And that's why the word fiqh that you hear all the time comes from the similar root, the word fiqh. Fiqh means, or fiqh means jurisprudence. And that's where we have the word fuqaha or faqih, which is the plural of faqih is the singular, fuqaha is the plural of it, meaning those who are religious authorities. And so it is referring towards the jurisprudential aspect of it. And that's why someone who becomes marja taqleed or excels in this ilm is referred to as faqih. And faqih is someone whom we emulate, has done studies in fiqh and usul. So a person who has excelled, for example, in ulum Quran will not be referred to as faqih. Someone who has excelled in, let's say, Islamic history would not be referred to as faqih. Or even if you do refer to him as faqih, he will not be someone whom you emulate, because emulation or following is in what? In fiqh and as well as in usul. So fiqh basically tells you the ahkam that we have, that which are derived from these one of the 4 sources, either Quran or hadith or aql or ijma, which is the consensus, or we have the jurisprudential principles. And then these principles are certain principles which we use in order to also go ahead and derive the laws. For example, what are some of the jurisprudential principles, the usul din? For example, the qaida or the principles such as qaida faragh. Qaida faragh is a law in regards to ahkamat that which are obligations, which are wajibat upon us. For example, it says, kullu ma shakakta fihi mimma qad madha famzeh kama huwa. This is called qaida faragh. That means anything which you have performed, and now you have doubt about it. فَامْضِهْ كَمَا هُوَ. Let it be the way it was. You don't have to worry about it. A lot of time people have questioned that I prayed, and right after my prayer I have a doubt now, whether I did this or not, whether I performed ruku or not, whether I did sajda or not, whether I did tashahhud. When it's done, and now you're doubting, فَامْضِهْ كَمَا هُوَ. You don't have to worry about it. It's all done and taken care of. Or go an extent to that you doubt whether you even did a wudu or not. So, which makes the salat batil altogether. So for example, if you missed a sajda or ruku or something of that sort, there's a way of fixing it. But you forgot to even perform the wudu. Now you have a doubt whether you did wudu or not. After dhuhr, you're having a doubt. What happens to your salat? Salat is okay. Dhuhr is fine, but you can't pray Asr with this doubt. Now you have to go ahead and perform wudu before you can go ahead and pray your Asr prayer. So this is called Qaida Faragh. كُلَّمَا شَكَكْتَ مِن فَمْدَ كَمَا هُوَ. Whatever that you doubt, that you have performed afterwards, now you go ahead and let it be the way it was. Or for example, the Qaida, which is referring towards the concept of something which is halal or haram, or something which is pak or napak, which is pure or impure. It says, كُلُّ شَيْءٍ طَاهِرٍ حَتَّى تَعْلَمَ أَنَّهُ قَذِرٌ. Everything is what? Pak for you, clean for you, pure for you. This is also another issue amongst our members of some of our community members that are very, excessively doubt whether they're tahir or not, whether they have attained entire purity or not. They spend hours and hours in restrooms. They're spending hours and hours just to clean themselves, purify themselves. So sort of becomes an illness, right? And obviously it drives the family members crazy, and that the person himself is not going through a very great time either. He himself is living in this doubt constantly. So these people are called kathiru shak. When a person is kathiru shak, what does the law says about him? You don't have to pay attention to any of your doubts. Whatever you've done is fine. Allah will accept it from you. Don't pay attention to any of your doubt. So here we have this qaida. كُلُّ شَيْءٍ لَكَ طَاهِرٌ حَتَّى تَعْلَمَ أَنَّهُ قَذِرٌ. Everything is pak. So things that you see in your surrounding, they're all pak for you. Unless you come to know that it has become najis in front of your eyes, or you have this yaqeen that it had become najis. Otherwise, everything that you see is pak. That's why you see in Quran or in the books of fiqh, you don't have the things which are tahir. Because if that was the case, there will be a long list of those things which are tahir. You have the things that are najis. So that you have these list of things that are najis, you stay away from this, and that's it. Everything else is pak for you. But this will not be the same qaida when it comes to edibles, for example. It will not be the kullu shayin laka halal hatta ta'alam annahu haram, for example. You will not do qiyas in this regard, especially when it comes to meat. You won't say, isalatul barat that we say, or istishab in the terms of principles of jurisprudence is that you go back to the original state of it. Original state of a meat is what? It's haram until it's dhabiha, then it becomes halal. So you will not apply the same law over there. It will be reversed over there. But everything else, when it comes to the purity, it will be considered. So just a background on what fiqh is and what tafaqquh, or pondering in this religion is. We see that it is possible one attains this knowledge for the worldly gains. It is quite possible people get into this so that they have worldly gains, or to gain some sort of fame, or in order to compete with the friends and whatnot. Or sometimes one attains religious knowledge for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the paradise, or to be able to provide salvage to the members of the community, as the Quranic ayat is saying. Why not some of you go out and study and attain ulum deen, come back and go ahead and warn the people, or go ahead and teach the people of your community. Second reason, obviously, is preferable. It's a great service to humanity, to guide them, to solve their problems. It's a لِيُنذِرُوا قَوْمَهُمْ, to go ahead and warn them of the mistakes that they might be committing. Amirul Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib, when he advises his children, he says, تَفَقُّهْ فِي الدِّينِ فَإِنَّ الْفُقَهَا وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. He says, تَفَقُّهْ فِي الدِّينِ. Go ahead and have the deep learning of the religion. Why? إِنَّ الْفُقَهَا وَرَثَةُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. Because indeed, those who have done, research in religion, they are who? They are the inheritors of Anbiya. And that's why I quoted it this last night as well, when our third Imam on the night of Ashur, one of the things that he took pride in was what? He said, Allahumma inni ahmaduka an akramtana bin nubuwa wa faqqahtana fid din. Oh Allah, we take pride that you gave us what? You gave us Nabi in our family, and wa faqqahtana fid din. And you gave us deep understanding of the religion. So Imam is taking pride over there as well. This is where we see someone when asked, our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, that what is the duty of the people in case something happened to Imam of our time? Imam replied by reciting this ayat of Surah Tawbah, verse number 122. If something happened to Imam of your time, for example, if he was to, go into occultation, for example, if he was to die, obviously there will be second Imam. If you didn't have access to the Imam, then Imam recited this ayat of Surah Tawbah, verse number 122. We see the concept is of hijrat. This discussion is not of fuqaha or ijtihad or taqleed or that. Because this ayat is usually recited in support of taqleed. That if you want to prove taqleed, a lot of people say, how do you prove taqleed? Well, you recite this ayat of Quran. It's very simple. It's addressing the concept of faqih and fuqaha of ulum ad-din, not of ulum of any other science. So here we see, this is the ayat that you use to prove the fiqahat of our maraji and their ijtihad. But that's not the discussion. The discussion is of hijrat, that you make this hijrat, you travel to go ahead and attain this knowledge. This is what the concept is. And so we understand that there were definitely different hijrat that were taking place in the history of Islam, the rich history of Islam. We see the historical hijrat of our Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that took place, and Quran talks about it, in الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَحَاجَرُوا وَجَاهَدُوا بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آوَوا وَنَصَرُوا أُولَٰئِكَ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. This ayat was revealed, in regards to the migration that was performed. It says, surely those who believed and migrated and strove hard in the way of Allah with their possession and their lives, and those that sheltered and helped them, those Ansar that helped these Muhajirin, they alone are the ones true allies of one another. And then he says, and those who believed, they brought Iman, but they did not migrate with you. They remained back. They said, no, we can't leave our houses. We can't leave our belongings. This is too important for us to leave. We're not going to leave Makkah now. Prophet said, no, come, migrate with me. They said, no, we're going to stay over here. So Quran says, those who believe but did not migrate, you are under no obligation of alliance unless they migrate with you, or later on. So you don't have any wilayat. The word walayat is being used over here. You don't have any obligation when it concerns these people, because it was integral part of the society at that time that they all go ahead and travel and perform this migration. So Quran goes to the extent by saying, yes, you can trust those who migrated with you, but you cannot trust those who brought Iman, but they failed to migrate. Why? Because of the worldly goods that they had to leave behind. Imagine if the case is, and that's why you hear, God forbid you're ever in a, plane which is, has to make some sort of emergency landing. But when we are told, when you sit in the plane, what do they say? We say, in case of emergency, leave your belongings. Don't start carrying your belongings when we are evacuating you in the case of emergency. Or when there's a fire alarm, fire drill, you're supposed to leave all of your belongings. You're supposed to go ahead and save your life first before anything else could be saved. You're just trying to save this thing or that thing or this laptop or that. No, leave everything behind. Go ahead and save yourself, because if you left behind, you will be hurting others. So here is the historical hijrat of our Prophet, which takes place 13 years after the Bi'that, right? When he turned 40 and he received the first revelation, 13 years after that, or 10 years after the open propagation. So 3 years was just, it was makhfiyane, it was secretly being propagated. 10 years after that, after 13 years, it was the migration that was taking place. Why this migration? Because kuffar, they were obviously, so stubborn to the extent that they were annoying. They were harassing Muslimin, they were harassing Prophet, and they went to the last resort to go ahead and plot to go ahead and kill Rasulullah. This ayat was revealed. وَإِذْ يَمْكُرُوا بِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لِيُثْبِتُوكَ أَوْ يَقْتُلُوكَ أَوْ يُخْرِجُوكَ وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. It says, when the faithless plotted against you to take you captive or kill you or expel you, They plotted and Allah devised, and Allah is the best of the devisers. So they were planning to go out and kill Rasulullah, plot against him. That was the last resort. This is where Allah informs His Prophet. Prophet makes this migration. We are all aware of that migration, that famous migration that takes place. The Prophet leaves, which marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. Every new year started with some sort of significance. Our new year began when Prophet went on this hijrah. That's why we call Hijri. 1437 Hijri. Why Hijri? Because it began with the hijrah of our Prophet. So some important events that take place while Prophet is making this hijrah, amongst those things is that it started on 1st of Rabiul Awwal. Prophet remained for 3 days in this cave known as Thawr. Only Amirul Mu'mineen was aware of the hideout of Rasulullah. And so Imam was able to provide the food for 3 days. Imam was able to bring the news from the city, what's going on. And this is where Prophet told Amirul Mu'mineen to send everyone else to go ahead and give them the command. The Prophet is saying to migrate because we are also leaving. Prophet leaves on the 3rd of Rabiul Awwal, and then he arrives in the city known as Yathrib. In fact, he arrives in the place called as Quba first before he reaches Yathrib. That's why those who have gone for ziyarat, you go ahead and visit Masjid Quba, right? This was the first masjid in Islam that was established. Prophet, when he stayed in the place of Quba, first thing he did, he erected a masjid over there. La masjid in Ussasa awwala yawm. First day, the masjid which is established on taqwa. It is befitting for mu'mineen who want to purify themselves to stand in such masjid. That masjid was established. But a few things when this muhajirat is taking place, this important aspect, that Amirul Mu'mineen also playing this very vital role. The ayat of Quran was revealed, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. That among the people are those who sell their souls seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is most kind to His servant. This is where Amirul Mu'mineen sleeps onto the bed of our Prophet, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And Jibreel, the hadith says, وَرُوِيَ أَنَّهُ لَمَّا نَامَ عَلَى فِرَاشِهِ. When Amirul Mu'mineen slept onto the bed of Rasulullah, قَامَ جِبْرَائِيل عِنْدَ رَأْسِهِ. Jibreel stood on his head. وَمِكَائِيل عِنْدَ رِجْلَيْهِ. And Mikael was standing on towards the feet of Amirul Mu'mineen. وَجِبْرَائِيل يُنَادِي بَخٍ بَخٍ مَمْ مِثْلَكَ. Be glad tidings, who is like you? Yabna Abi Talib, yubahi Allahu bikal malaika. That who is like you, O Abi Talib, that even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prefers you even over the malaika. Amongst the things that takes place, and I wanted to, in the last 6 or 7 minutes, get to that discussion as well, is that these are some of the emissaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some of the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are not in the form of Anbiya. Now there are emissaries, which are the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from Adam till Khatam, right? But there were certain other emissaries of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which were messengers, were appointed to perform certain deeds, were appointed to go and serve the Anbiya and the Rusul. Amongst them is that Ankabut, which is ordered to go ahead and build that spider's web, to go ahead and build that web in order for people who are coming after Rasulullah, if they were to come to this cave, they will see this spider's web. They say, well, if this web was broken, then definitely someone would have gone in. But this web is intact, that means nobody went in, and therefore they came back. Here, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 124,000 messengers for the guidance of mankind, all of them whom came for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is what? To give them the news that there's one God, wahdaniyat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And second thing that they told them was that we are the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so they had very difficult time, especially the earlier prophets, and likewise towards the end, they had very difficult time getting this message out. But Quran points out the role and the mission of certain other messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will here, inshallah, towards the end, point out some of these messengers who are non-human that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. First is, as mentioned in Surah Tawbah, verse number 40, it says, إِلَّا تَنْصُرُوهُ فَقَدْ نَصَرَهُ اللَّهُ إِذْ أَخْرَجَهُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. It says, if you do not help him, then Allah certainly helped him when the faithless had expelled him. So Prophet was expelled from the city, or he migrated from the city. Nobody wanted to help him, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides this help. How does He provide this help? By asking this spider to go ahead and build this web, so that Rasulullah will be safe and secure. So it is due to that spider how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is appointing to protect the Prophet. Second, we see a crow is sent to teach a man to what to do in case someone dies. And that was sent for whom? When Habil was killed by his brother Qabil. فَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ غُرَابًا يَبْعَثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ لِيُرِيَهُ كَيْفَ يُوَارِي سَوْءَةَ أَخِيهِ. This is in Surah Ma'idah 31. Then Allah sent a crow exploring in the ground to show him how to bury the corpse of his brother. This was the first death on the face of the earth. So he did not know what to do with the dead body. He had gone ahead because of his negligence and his jealousy, gone ahead and killed his brother. Got rid of the humanity. One-fourth of humanity was killed at that time. But at that point, what happens? He does not know what to do with his brother. This is where Allah sends a messenger in the form of this crow, which comes, digs a grave, digs something, shows him what to do with this dead body. So a crow is appointed to teach insan what to do in case someone dies. Number 3, hupu, a hudhud, and a bird which is appointed and responsible for delivering a letter from Hazrat Sulaiman to the Queen of Sheba, right? Bilqis, mentioned in chapter Sabah. It says, "Idhab bi kitabi." Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam said to this hudhud, "Idhab bi kitabi hadha fa'alqih ilayhim thumma tawalla anhum fanzur madha yarji'un." Just imagine the expectations Hazrat Sulaiman has from this bird. He says what? He said, take this letter of mine. Well, that's one thing. Even we've heard, in India and Pakistan, they used to use pigeons and whatnot to send the letters. That's another thing. Between lovers and ashiq and mashuk, they will be exchanging the letters, but that's another thing. But you expect more than that. What Hazrat Sulaiman is saying, he's saying, take this letter of mine and deliver it to them, then draw away from them and observe. Observe what response they return. So Hudhud is not only responsible for delivering the letter, but he's also responsible. Imagine the basirat that this animal, this bird has, that he's responsible to go ahead and look at the reaction of these people when he delivers the letter to them, and then come back and inform Hazrat Sulaiman. Flock of birds, Ababil, the small birds, the smallest of all the birds, are responsible for crushing the army of elephants when it says, وَأَرْسَلَ عَلَيْهِمْ طَيْرًا أَبَابِيل, and send against them flocks of birds. So it is where the integrity of this religion, or rather the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is under attack. What happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we'll protect this house. How does He protect? By sending these little birds, carrying 3 pebbles, 1 in their beaks, 2 in their arms, and dropping them. Just imagine the amount. And that's why I believe when we go for Muzdalifah and we collect the pebbles, why do we collect the pebbles in Muzdalifah? Because that's where the army of Abraha was crushed by these ababil. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it to be mandatory that we go ahead and collect the pebbles from there, and we go ahead and strike shaitan. Not the physical shaitan, rather the spiritually inside the shaitan that is sitting inside us, to go ahead and strike that. Number 5, the serpent is responsible to prove the authenticity of one of the prophets. To prove that this prophet is authentic, a serpent is used. Who is it? For Hazrat Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah tells him what? He said, فَأَلْقَى أَصَاهُ فَإِذَا هِيَ ثَوْبَانٌ مُبِينٌ. Then he said thereat, he threw down his staff, and behold, it became a manifest serpent, or a manifest python, whatever you want to call it. Chapter 7, verse number 107. Here people are having hard time believing that Moses is the Rasul and Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does he do? He throws his staff down. It becomes a serpent, a snake, a larger snake for that matter, than everybody, at least those who were standing up in front of him, aside from Fir'aun, they believe that Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is authentic and he is the prophet of Allah. A fish is responsible to warn a prophet that he has made a mistake, or he was going towards making a mistake, and that is Hazrat Yunus. Ayat of Quran, chapter 37, verse number 142 says what? فَالْتَقَمَهُ الْحُوتُ وَهُوَ مُلِيمٌ. It says, then the fish swallowed him while he was blameworthy. Ayat al-Quran says, mulimun. He was blameworthy for what he had done. So the fish went ahead and ate him, swallowed him. So a fish is responsible for teaching a prophet that you have made a mistake, or you were doing tarki olaf, whatever it was. Now you are blameworthy. So the message has been delivered to him. A creeping creature, a worm for that matter, becomes the reason for people and the jinn to realize that Nabi of Allah has died, and you don't even realize it. Who's that in regards to? Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salatu wassalam. That he's standing, either it was an ant or it was some sort of worm, that he was standing leaning onto the staff or leaning on, that did not even realize that he was dead for quite some time. They were all thinking, because he's the king of all the kings, he's standing, you dare not speak in front of him. But this worm had eaten the staff, so it broke and then he fell. That's only when they realized that no, he's no longer alive. So a creeping creature, a worm, becomes the reason for people to realize that Prophet of Allah is no longer alive. A dog is appointed to guard the people of the cave. It says, Ashabul Kahf, when God said, وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعَيْهِ بِالْوَسِيدِ, while their dog lay outstretching its paws at the entrance, lest someone comes in and harms the people who are fast asleep. This is in chapter Kahf, verse number 18. 4 birds are the means of certainty and itminan of Khalilullah, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. 4 birds. He said, oh Allah, I want to see how you create. He said, do you have any doubts? He said, no, I don't have any doubts, but I want itminan qalb, so I can see it from my own eyes. Allah says, okay, pick up one of these 4 birds. A peacock, a pigeon, a rooster, and a crow was picked. Then God told Ibrahim, قَالَ فَخُذْ أَرْبَعَةً مِّنَ الطَّيْرِ فَصُرْهُنَّ إِلَيْهِ. Catch 4 birds, then cut them into pieces, and place them apart, and then call them towards yourself with our command, and you will see how I create. When he called upon them, all of their body parts come together, and then these birds come towards Hazrat Ibrahim. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So far I recited none but the verses of Quran in front of you, and these are all the emissaries and the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who are responsible for delivering different messages. A cow, a camel, and a sheep are considered to be sacraments of Allah, sha'air of Allah. When at Hajj it says, وَالْبُدْنَا جَعَلْنَاهَا لَكُمْ مِنْ شَعَائِرِ اللَّهِ. It said, we have appointed for you a sacrificial animal as part of Allah's sacrament. An animal becomes the means of God's recognition. You want to be able to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you look towards how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created certain animals. It says, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبْلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Do they not look at and ponder over this camel, how we have created it, how different ways that it exists, and therefore you'll be able to recognize the Creator by this creation. An animal becomes the miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it says, هَذِهِ نَاقَةُ الصَّالِحِ, she's the miracle, she camel is the miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When the people of Qawm Saleh said, we believe in you, but until you go ahead and produce this miracle to us. They said, what kind of miracle do you want? Just ask for whatever it is. They came up with the most absurd thing possible so that nobody will be able to produce. He said, we want you to produce a she-camel who's pregnant, and it would come out of this mountain in front of us. And he said, let's throw something which this guy will never be able to prove. But Hazrat Saleh makes this dua from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and right in front of their eyes, a she-camel comes out from the heart, from the stomach of this mountain, opens up, she comes out, and when she comes out, they were all amazed by it. But then he said, let me set some examples for you. She will drink from over here. You will not deprive of her drink. But what happened? فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَأَقَرُوهَا. They went ahead and killed, and they were considered to be the person who killed this Naqe Saleh. He was considered to be the first of the Ashqan Nas, the most shaqi tareen shakhs jisko kaha gaya, wo tha jisne Naqe Saleh ko qatl kiya, aur aakhri shaqi tareen shakhs wo tha jisne Amirul Mu'mineen ke sar pe zarbat lagayi. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq and the ability to ponder over the verses of Quran, the different aspects of Quran, as Allah has said, أَفَلَا يَتَفَكَّرُونَ do they not ponder over this book? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq to be able to understand this book, especially in this month of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the zuhur of our awaited Imam and make us among the helpers and the soldiers of Imam. Wa akhu dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.